Representative Cochran renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Pearson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Speaker. And I'm not going to call a previous question for my colleagues who I know want to ask things. One of the concerns that I have here. Say again? But I want to hear your voice and your opinion on such important legislation impacting 7 million people. So I'm not going to call a previous question. I'm concerned specifically, and I saw a number of exceptions in here, sponsor, about young people who are seeking treatment. Your legislation includes even for something like STDs or things like that, that automatically going to their parent. And so what rights are you preserving of the young people, in addition to obviously the issues of care and concern that I think we need to have when it comes to ideation of suicide? I'm worried about the lessening of protections of the 16-year-old or 17-year-old who might be, as your language describes here, endangered or worried about their own physical safety if this information is presented to their parent.
Representative Cochran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So the 16 and 17-year-old, the situations where you're mentioning a 16 or 17-year-old, they are minors, and I think it's important for a parent to always be involved in the health care of their child, since they are their legal guardian. You said automatically, though. That's not true. This legislation doesn't require a physician to automatically transfer information to a parent, but it does give a parent access to that if they ask for it. If they know their child had to go to the doctor last week or whenever, they can call the physician and ask for that prescription information. Primarily, well, for numerous reasons. Again, I think that the biggest reason is they are the child's legal guardian. They should be involved in those healthcare decisions. Also, since they are the legal guardian, if that child is involved in some sort of medical emergency, if they fall and hit their head, an ambulance comes and picks them up, they go to the hospital, the medical professionals ask the parent or legal guardian, hey, what medications is your child taking? Right, so they want to make sure that there are no complications there. So someone needs to be able to get that information. And so, again, I think that equipping parents, responsible parents and guardians with medical information is never a bad thing.
Representative Pearson.
Thank you, Speaker and sponsor, and I appreciate that idea of all parents are responsible, but that oftentimes in really horrible situations isn't the truth. And again, I don't want to think about or legislate from the place of that privilege, but instead of a place where the young person who is seeking medical treatment is worried about having to tell their parent that they were now having sex and they got an STD, and their parent have this legal or this religious concern about that, and that now is endangering the child's health and well-being and things like this, and they not having any protection or recourse themselves. Again, it isn't from the position I think that you're speaking of. We have responsible parents who are just concerned about their kids. There are some parents and there are some individuals who are legal guardians who might not have the best interest of the child, and a child who might be seeking treatment or seeking health care and has not informed their parent for whatever the reason is, if it isn't threatening their life, if it isn't endangering other people, I'm struggling with why they're losing all of the potential protections that they're trying to have for themselves. And so can you articulate if there are cases where this individual, this person would be able to say, you can share this information like my medicine if someone's seeking that, but please don't share this for these reasons?
Representative Cochran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And this may just be a place where we have a philosophical disagreement. There are exceptions, as you noted earlier, if there are cases of abuse, right? If a physician sees that there's evidence of abuse and they have reported that to DCS and they think that giving a parent medical information could somehow endanger the child, certainly they're not required to do that. So there are those exceptions, and we probably agree there. I think where the philosophical disagreement comes in is anything outside of that, they are a child, and they are under the guardianship of an adult for a reason, and the parent should be involved in those medical decisions if the parent wants to be. And I understand that you don't agree with that, and I think we may just have to agree to